Welcome back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder actual play podcast. I'm your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is
Adam, and I playing as a caddy
bard. Oh my gosh, don't make us.
Name Jules.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Cool.
You got it, Joel.
I'm Joel, and I play Dax, a kobold rogue.
Dang it.
Ooh, that was nice.
Okay, Ryan.
I'm Ryan,
Ooh,
and I play a tough, I'm not a tiefling. I'm an automaton inventor.
All right. Boom.
And
I'm Darren, and I play Waltzer, human champion.
Baby,
Ooh, a little
sultry.
Cool. Thank you for joining us on
Nice.
this
Move over,
special
Jackson.
musical edition of
I
Mortals
was
and Portals.
85. I was 85% certain Taryn's just gonna be like, I'm Taryn, and I
100%.
I'm so glad I never have to participate in these. I just watch it. I like watching
I'm so
people
glad
be like,
I have
oh,
this
crap, I have to
power
do
over
this.
all of you.
Yeah.
I've never had
it is
more
a-
anxiety
It
for
is a lot
one,
of
though.
power.
Our music guy who has like an actual song in the podcast where he sings for like 3 minutes was nervous that he had to sing his character's name.
Those guys.
What if they don't like
You'll
it?
be great.
Yeah, Joel, can you auto-tune us?
Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you buy auto-tune and then
Right.
apply it to our
And then
voices?
figure out what key
you
everybody's
got,
in.
You
and
got
then-
money to just, you can pay for that.
That's
Thank
fine.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so,
Joel.
cool. All right. Anyway, last time on Mortals and Portals, geez, it's been like 3 weeks or so since we played. Let me think for a second. This is where Waltz and Dax caught up and saw Elyara about to kill Tuff, and Jules, and Zoki was holding her off, and Smith flew up and threw her into a tree, and then you guys had to fight her, and you finally got her to calm down. I mean, finally. Like, she was on a tear, and she probably would have killed all you guys because I just would have kept like leveling her up in the background as soon as you were about to kill her, just to make sure I could kill all you. I was going for the TPK, but I took pity on you guys and stopped that. So you learned that she is Don Renard's wife, and that she basically saw that you guys had the Flora de Vida, didn't have time to figure out if you guys could be trusted, because if she got that wrong and was killed or lost to Flora de Vida, then the entire planet is destroyed. So she erred on the side of caution, I guess you could say, and trusted her instincts, because you guys knew Don Renard well, and before the arc he went on with you guys, he definitely wouldn't have entrusted that to someone else, so you can't blame her for thinking the same. But she took you guys all to this pool, basically, that rejuvenated you guys and allowed you all to get back to full health, brought Tuff back to life, and you all started talking to her. And actually, while Jules was underwater, which is really cool, by the way, because we didn't plan this, but basically Tuff realized by talking to Elyara that if he takes the Flora de Vida out of his core and returns it to the soils of Ciudad de la Nubes so that it can continue to levitate and save the planet and save the city, that he himself might die. And she hypothesized that he's basically like a mini Ciudad de la Nubes now, where he would have some residual power left and perhaps live for a time, but beyond that she does not know. And Tuff kind of showed that he's slowly, becoming a selfless hero, and came to terms with that in his own snarky way, and luckily Jules didn't hear any of this. And then you guys all left the pool and decided to come up with a plan on what to do. And Elyara shared with you all that she anticipates that the city will fall again, but believes that the city is still strong with the power it has left, that it can hold on for at least one more drop before it has a final fall. And she believes when that happens, you'll be at cloud level, which will obviously cover the city in clouds and give you like a fog, so to speak, where you can safely move through the city and get to the Castle of Star Sea, which is where you need to return the Flora de Vida to, basically a cavern beneath it called Caverna de Luz. And she showed you a few ways you could maybe do this, and you guys dissected all this and came up with this plan where there's this secret underwater cavern that Jules could access because he can breathe underwater. And if he swims, if he swims underwater, finds this secret entrance, then he can get back behind the entrance that's in the castle. He could continue to go to Caverna de Luz, but he doesn't have the Flora de Vida, so he is going to go back into the castle, create some diversion, and give you guys a signal that allows you to storm the castle. So you guys have to work your way through the city, get to the lake, sail across, wait outside the castle for the signal, and then storm it. And in the meantime, Elyara and Zoki are going to get on Smith, Cervantes, whatever you want to call him, and go fly to the Avery once they're in cloud cover and free all the hippogriffs that Raoul's men trapped within, hoping that any surviving Kitsune that are still loyal to the city will rally, find their hippogriffs, take to the skies, and this should lure out Raoul's Merkvane, which is now in the city with him, as he flew in once he learned from Menard that he doesn't have the Flor de Vida and figured out he was tricked, so he's mad. He's here, and she knows if the Merkvane is still there, then you don't really stand a chance, so she's going to at least lure that out. Probably a lot of other soldiers in this distraction, so that will be another layer that will help you guys as well sneak into this city. And then at the very end of the episode, when you guys are all getting ready to rally and start heading that way, Jules noticed on Cervantes that he had the amulet, his family's amulet that he gave to Renard when Renard gave him his ring, and they agreed that when they see each other again, they will be able to exchange it. And you guys all certainly believe Renard is alive at this point, and this is the first sign that only Jules sees that he is perhaps dead or never planned on reuniting with you guys. And when Smith saw Jules notice this, he covered it with his wing and snorted, and you get the impression that he doesn't want people to know this, whether he's right or wrong. He is just a hippogriff after all, so it's on Jules' shoulder to figure out what to do, and that is where we ended our session. So that is where we'll start our session. So,
Oh, God.
Elyara petting Smith, grabbing onto his reins, gesturing to Zoki, gesturing to all of you, and says, "Follow me. I know a place we can wait just outside the city until it falls again into the clouds." And she starts to stroll into the woods. What are you thinking, Jules?
Oh, man, I feel as if... It's like as if I, murdered someone's dad and I'm keeping it a secret.
You do actually know about that one and are keeping that a secret, too.
Yeah. Man, Jules would probably stare at the necklace where he saw, and maybe even just kind of stay fixed on that point. So even after Smith walks away, he's just kind of staring off a beat too long, and then unless someone notices it, just kind of shake out of it and start following. But he's just running through everything in his mind, trying to think of is there some way that Don Renard is alive, and just trying to play through all the scenarios to figure out what this means, even though he knows what it means.
Can you roll me a perception check?
21.
Yeah, you're kind of thinking back to on the order of events and reflecting on the way Renard was acting when you guys left, and knowing he's super proud warrior, and even if he was dying, he wouldn't say anything, so that doesn't bring you any comfort. Doesn't really say yes or no to you necessarily, but you also think to the way Smith was acting when he showed up, just how angry and agitated and determined he's looked ever since. And if anything could upset Smith, it would be his friend or any of his friends dying, perhaps. But again, doesn't confirm, though the clues you have been given do not seem very encouraging.
Yeah, Jules is walking with a look of concern on his face, just mentally somewhere else at the moment.
Getting a little nervous?
What?
You look like you've seen a ghost or something.
Oh, no, sorry. Just going through the plan, I guess. Making sure I don't forget anything. How are you, Tough?
Me? Well, I'm great. Just like you said, stick to the plan. Boom and zoom. Straight and simple.
Hi. And I'll pat him on the back and maybe look up, knowing that Tough's a little bit shorter. Won't be able to see my face as easily if I keep it up, so...
As you pat Tough on the back, he'll also kind of turn his head away and just have sort of an unsure look on his face as he does so, maybe a little bit concerned.
So you guys have done this before. This is, what'd you call it, a boom and zoom? Think it'll be that easy?
I mean, it's worked for us before, every time we've done this.
Yeah, 'cause everything's been super easy since we met.
Yeah, but this plan's foolproof. It's worked 99% of the time, right, Jules?
Yeah, I mean, we've only done it one other time, but it did work. So.
That's right, the other 99 times it went well. We've done it 100 times total, and one time
So
it went
wasn't-
wrong.
It wasn't perfect.
We don't talk
okay?
about that, though.
Did any of them have stakes as great as like an entire city plummeting from the sky and destroying a planet? Your silence
just-
is very concerning.
Well, when you put it that way. But, potato, potato, dire circumstances.
Tough and I have found that working in these sort of conditions and stakes is when you find the most luck.
I mean, what's the alternative, right? We do nothing and the city plummets, or we at least try, right?
Suppose that's true. I just wonder what Don Renaud would say if he was here. Wonder if he'd like this plan. And Eliara turns around and says, as far as I can tell, this is according to Don Renaud's plan. The Roboto Gato has the Flora de Vida, and he came up with the plan. He entrusted him, so I'm sure he would approve.
See, guys, we're fine.
That's right, and my plans always go according to plan.
Yep, definitely. They always do. Everyone, he's not once come up with a plan that hasn't screwed us over.
What about, wait, hold on. What about when you shot the Renard and, that didn't go the way you wanted?
Anyway, we
no
should
way,
probably
you got
catch up to
caught. I saw
Eliara,
you
huh,
immediately.
guys?
It led us here, did it not?
But that
And
wasn't
you're
part of
with
the
us?
plan. Whatever. We always find a way, right, guys?
Right.
Yeah, it always works out one way or another.
Seems to.
I mean, we're the keepers after all, right? And I'll chuckle a little bit.
Eliara looks over her shoulder again. What is this keepers you speak of? You are the keepers. She looks very skeptical.
Well, it was sort of a joke, but
You
I mean,
joke
tough
about
here.
being
Maybe.
the keepers. You mock the keepers?
No, it's more mocking us.
Because you are
I
the
will
keepers.
say, we met under mysterious circumstances. We're just sort of figuring things out still. Tough, though. He might be a keeper, aren't you, buddy?
Ha, good one, Jules.
Well, you or that weird thing inside you.
Tough kind of pats himself and says, huh?
Eliara looks to Zogi, kind of whispering. They think they are keepers because they met under mysterious circumstances? I don't know. It's like a long story, but I don't think they're technically keepers yet, but they might be.
If we make it through this, we'll explain everything.
Very well. And as she says that, you all reach the edge of a ravine where you step beyond the trees and can see very clearly out in front of you a vista. It's extremely beautiful, just the sprawling landscape as it descends towards this city. And it's a circular city with varying levels of height and stacked buildings, and some are tall, some are short, very, very diverse, but they all look very beautiful, pristine, mostly white buildings, though you can tell right away that many of them are destroyed. You can see smoke coming off of them, some of them with smoldering fires. Obviously, with the city tipping at times and perhaps the battle that took place here, there was just a lot of destruction that occurred. And in the center of this city, you see it's all built around this lake, and the lake vaguely has a star shape to it, a very crude star shape. And in the center of this lake is a small island with a large castle in the midst of it, all rounded architecture, like round towers, not square or blocky, with a very, very tall, looks beautiful, no walls around it. You can just tell that this city feels very safe on its own anyway, and they're a very well-organized culture. They're not really used to being invaded. And on the lake outside, you can see a few docks with some simple boats to ferry across as well. But as you're looking at this castle with the massive moon behind it, fun lore fact, Lorthal has the largest moon of any planet in Keldora, so yeah, very, very large moon
Whoa.
silhouetting
Oh, wow. Moon facts.
behind it.
It all makes sense now.
Lunar.
Many beautiful stars and colors in the sky, almost like you can see into the depths of space with how clear the sky is. And silhouetted against this moon, perching atop the castle, is very frightening bat-like wings that expand, and you hear the strange, ominous chirp of this massive merkvein resonate across this vista as sparks of lightning shoot from the tips of its wings into the sky. Looks very frightening, and you can see that it is clearly guarding this castle but in stark contrast to that horrific sight as you look back down to the lake, you see very clear mirror-like water that perfectly reflects the stars above. Yet another reason it is the castle of Star Sea. But you can see what lays ahead of you, and Eliara stops, pats Cervantes, puts her hands on her hips, and says, "Yes, we will want to draw that one away. I don't think you will fare too well with him."
With the sound of the Merkfane, Dax is just going to be clutching his bag. He's a little nervous about this. Yeah, he's pretty intimidated by those creatures.
Waltz will think back to when he escaped his executioner and he went through the node that day, and there was a lot of drakes in the sky, a lot of destruction, and just kind of look out to a similar scene with the Merkbane spreading its wings and all the fire kind of, slowly burning down these buildings. It's a very familiar ruined sight. So he kind of feels similar to how he did that day, which is definitely a little intimidated and I guess trying not to think of the odds that they're facing.
Tough will get a shudder down his spine, looking at the Merkbane. Ugh, ugly thing, isn't it?
Eliara sits down on a rock and starts to point out some places in the city.
As she's doing that, Jules will kind of make his way over to Smith and try to slide a hand, remove the necklace.
Well, as you walk up, Smith can tell what you're doing. He kind of halfway closes his eyes, looking a little somber, but maintains eye contact with you, and then opens his wing so you can just grab it yourself. You don't even need to slide a hand it.
I guess slide a hand for the rest of the group so that they don't see, Jules, what are you doing to his wing?
Yeah, well, I suppose as you're doing that, Eliara is speaking about some things she's seen in the city, so they're all kind of watching what she's pointing at, and you're able to take it. And as you take that, Eliara is saying, "Now remember, when you are in the city there will be cloud cover, but it is certainly occupied by the traitors and the abominations of which I spoke. You should move through as quickly as you can. Of course, time is of the essence, but if you do want to try and stop and gather some supplies, I do not know how skilled you are with stealth, but there is a store of supplies over there for riders," and she points. "You may find some gear if it hasn't been looted already, things that us warriors of the sky may use. And over there is the apothecary, if you feel you may need some potions of sorts. Hopefully it hasn't exploded. And perhaps there are some things throughout the city scattered about. There was quite the battle. But your number one priority is getting to those docks. Wait there until you can tell that I have freed the hippogriffs. I promise I will not fail. And when I do, hopefully the Merkvan will leave. You certainly will not want to cross the lake while he watches. But from there, it is up to you."
Eliara, from which point do I enter the lake?
She chuckles. "Oh, I do not know. I have never found this passage myself. I only know that it exists. But it should be no problem for you to find, I'm sure. You're kind. They can speak to the fishes, yes?
Yes.
Perhaps
actually.
you can ask them. I'm sure they know."
At this point, I can have conversations with them.
Right. You can tell, when she said that, she was actually, joking. She doesn't even think you guys can do that. She was just making a little joke about your ancestry. So she thinks you're just playing along with the same joke. Oh, and, sorry, I forgot to mention. And she gestures over to the side, and you just see a wire running from one of the branches of the last remaining tree on the tree line that is running all the way down from the top of this ravine and then just kind of disappearing into the city. This will get you deep into the city. It will save you much time. And when you look over at this zip line, you can see that it's running for what looks like a mile or two. You could imagine how fast you could get going on this thing. And she just very casually said, why don't you just hop on this thing? And obviously this isn't a modern day zip line with a handle and a brake that's gonna stop you from dying. But she said that it's a very common thing to use, and she didn't think that'd be a problem.
So, how do we use this thing without dying?
She raises her eyebrow
What do you mean?
"What do you mean without dying?" And she's like, without dying, you zip line across. Do you use your balance, your strength?
Are there hooks
go,
for this, or
You do
Never-
not do things like this. Where you are from?
Tough. Can you, I don't know, can you show me how this thing works?
Yeah, I'll show you when we get there. Sheesh,
Okay.
and I roll my eyes and then like shrug my shoulders at Eliara.
She looks at all you and is like, none of you know how to.
I know. Tough. And I zipline all the time.
We've
Well,
been on plenty of zips and lines.
I
Yeah.
would be sure that you know how to do this, because if not, I imagine you would end up as a splatter on the road.
Well, I'm sure that's Waltz's concern.
Yeah, that's more what I was getting at there with my worries.
Waltz, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be great.
Well, it is
Alright,
quite
okay.
simple. She stands up and takes out her dagger and goes up to a tree. And as you see her do this, you see this tree has many markings on it and cuts like bark was stripped away. And then she takes her dagger and peels away a few strips of bark and takes one and starts waving it through the air. And you can see it's flexible. But then she takes her hand and starts to pull on it and see that it is also durable. And then she goes up to the wire and then slaps the bark over it and grips both sides like a handle. Now it's in like a upside down U shape, and she's tugging on it, and you see the rope flexing a bit, and then she says, and then you just simply jump. Oh, and hold on, of course, sorry, I don't know how smart this one here is, and she gestures to Waltz. The tighter you grip it and bring it inward, you can perhaps slow yourself. But when you get to the end, you'll want to let go and simply roll. It is nothing difficult, of course. So she hands each of you your piece of bark and sits down on the rock. Or you could walk, though I imagine it would take 10 times as long, and we may all be dead by then.
We'll be just fine. And Jules will give Smith some love, a couple pats and stuff, before he takes his piece of bark. Well, does anyone else want to go first?
No, you are not doing this yet. You wait until
Oh.
the city falls in the clouds.
Oh, yes, sorry. That's
right? Because we need the cloud cover.
Yes, you could go in now, though I imagine you will be ripped to bits immediately.
Okay, fine. I'll wait.
You know, I thought we were
Just
all
so
clear on the
excited.
plan.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh, and before I forget, you see her lift her sleeve up and then just starts to rip it off on her right arm. And then she pries it open so it's more like a strip. And then she tosses it to Tuff and says, run this across your chest like a sash. We do not want any of them to see you have the Florida Vita in your core.
I like catch it, but catch it really far away from me, and I go, ugh, it smells like wet dog.
Sorry.
Sure, I guess that makes sense, though. And then I just start wrapping it around my torso, making sure to cover up the Florida Vita.
The picture she told you to do it like a sash, but you do it like a tube top.
No, it's not canon. It's not canon.
And then with that, Eliara sits back down on the rock and just sort of bows her head down like she's thinking and preparing, trying to get in the right mindset. And you realize this is perhaps the time for you all to do the same if there's any final things you want to take care of in this piece, because you don't know the next time you will encounter peace. So
Well, I've got to prepare Jules' special present for his clandestine mission, so I'm going to go take care of that. And then Tuff will just kind of go leave the group.
bye, Tuff. I hope he comes back.
After some time, I'll follow after Tough.
Dax is going to walk up to the tree and turn his back to it, sit down at the base of it, and then he'll start rummaging through his little bag there, and he'll be looking through. We'll see, his supplies, his rope, he'll come across Toriel's healing gloves and Toriel's health book, and then his eyes will settle on Digsby's book that he picked up back in his orchard.
His Time to Grow: The Life Lessons of an Orchardist by Digsby.
Yes, that one.
That's the one.
That very book. A smirk will come across Dax's face as he pulls it out and starts flipping through the pages.
Jules, maybe as you're about to walk off after Tuff, you kind of hear the pages flipping and notice what book he pulled out as well.
I'll turn around and step up behind him. Is that Digsby's book?
Yeah, it is. Kind of forgot I had this.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I haven't seen it in a long time.
Been so caught up in everything going on, I haven't taken a second to look through it.
I'll sit down next to him at this point.
Soki walks up and she says, Digsby, like Digsby's crew, Digsby?
One and the same.
And he's your leader, right? Or was that Benjamin? I forgot.
Benjamin's certainly not our leader. I don't know if Digsby was our leader, but he does lead us in a way.
It certainly brought us together.
Waltz will walk up and set down his shield and take a seat beside Dax and wait for him to read something.
Dax will keep flipping through the pages and he'll find one that sticks out to him and maybe even start to read it, and then notice that Tough isn't there since he walked off, and I'll look up and see if I can see Tough from where I'm at, and if I can, call out to him. Do I see him?
Tough is gone into the trees. You don't see him. You maybe hear some like banging or clanking, like he's working on something, like he's busy.
Dax will sigh just a little bit and then continue to read.
So, Dax, the one that caught your eye is because Edwin's name was in the first line, and you just thought back to him, and hey, you entrusted him with an orchard, and you just kind of wanted to read this story about Edwin. And as he reads it, you all can't help but hear it in Digsby's voice. So the other day, Edwin stopped by the orchard to help with the harvest. Much appreciated because the last one was killing my back. If I ever had a son of my own, I'd be quite pleased if he was as fine a lad as he. Every so often, we would take a short break and play catch with an apple. I can throw an apple remarkably far, by the way. And Dax, as you read that, you think about him throwing the apple to you on top of the tower, just pegging you right in the head. Anyways, our little game gave me quite the idea. My next trip into Karos, I stopped by Bumblebrooks to join Dunadas during his morning coffee. Which he still won't let me have, by the way. Nonetheless, I told him of my genius idea. You see, the pesky Drake Knights won't let us have weapons, but they will let us have apples. Now, not everyone can throw an apple with deadly power and precision as I can. So, what if Dunadas invented an apple launcher? Just imagine, we could start an apple army. Unfortunately, the ever-pessimistic Dunadas assured me mass-producing apple launchers would raise about as much suspicion as swords would. Oh well. Either way, he was quite grateful because my launcher sparked another idea he seemed quite excited about. Though I don't know what could be more deadly than an apple launcher. Before I left, Dunadas thanked me again and said my heart was in the right place, because it would take all of us to defeat the Drake Knights, and we should never give up hope, as long as we have each other.
The Apple Army, I like that. Jules, Dax, you remember when I had that bag of apples and was that Geldir that I hit with the bag of apples? Do you guys remember? I don't really. But you remember?
Probably was. You hit him so many times.
Wasn't it?
But you guys remember, right, when I had the bag of apples that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clocked him.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
times.
Sure come a long way, haven't we?
Oh, man, seems like yesterday.
And as you all reminisce on that and feel good about Digsby, many of those lines just calling out to him, even the one about his back was killing him when Waltz gave him a massage, I think, or something in episode 1. Just so much of his character brimming through this short little story, and you all just feel very rejuvenated, motivated, knowing the things you've overcome together and that you have each other and there's no reason to give up hope, and it would take all of you. And you all receive 3 temporary hit points. Except Ryan / Duff.
You're not doing great for the narrative of
Player hate.
Yeah.
Zach, you said 3 hero points too, right?
Here comes another 1-star
and
review.
yeah, also just unrelated, all of you get 2 hero points because I know I'll forget to give you hero points later, so I'm banking them. So don't burn them all this episode and think you're getting more the next one, because this is just you guys 2 hero points.
I already had 1, so
Thanks,
do I have
Dad.
3 now?
You have 3, yeah.
Sorry, there's a weird rule. If you had 1 but then received 2, you actually have 0. So sorry.
You shouldn't have said anything, Adam.
Dang it. piddle fart.
I didn't already have one, Zach.
Yeah, but Ryan, it's you, Ryan. So you have 0, obviously.
Dang it.
Also,
I
you
have
get
5.
kidnapped. You're in jail during this. We'll get to you when this is over. I don't think it'll take too long. Don't worry.
Okay.
A group of Drake Knights came and kidnapped you. So,
Zoki's just kind of scratching her head. An apple launcher? What's this guy? What?
That would have worked too. It would have been like Dax's giant crossbow. Dax, you remember the giant crossbow?
Yeah, that thing was awesome.
Yeah, it'd be like one of those that shot apples.
God, I miss Dunadast.
Jules will be kind of, laughing, reminiscing, but when Dax says Dunadast, he'll kind of look at him and maybe his smile gets smaller and he just remembers the secret.
And Jules, I'd imagine maybe even hearing that story, being reminded that Digsby died and now Dunadas died and perhaps Renard died and you are about to continue on a dangerous quest and don't know if everyone is going to make it through that as well.
Yeah, after thinking of Dunadast, I'll think of Tough and I'll stand back up and start heading towards the direction he went off to.
Jules, you wander into the forest, and after a little while, you would actually maybe run into Tough on his way back from whatever he was crafting for you all.
Oh, hey Tough. To finish up what you were working on.
Oh, yeah, I did, and I'm tying off the top of this, sack that I have as I'm walking up. One special present from Tough to Jules, and I shove it into his chest.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Oh, yeah, that'll certainly cause a boom, all right, and I'll, wink at him.
Do you need to show me how they work, or will I just know?
No, don't touch it, don't touch it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
First of all, it's very fragile, so don't go swinging it around or do anything stupid, all right?
Like going down a zip line?
Precisely. Oh, wait, yeah, I guess just be extra careful on that thing.
Yeah, noted.
Also, don't undo this sack. It's waterproof, all right? If you take it out before then, breaks the seal, then it won't work anymore once you get into the water.
Also noted.
So after diving in, once you make it out of the water in the cavern, then you can open this sucker up. Once you see what's inside, you'll know what to do.
All right, I trust you. Listen, Tough, when we were flying in before, you mentioned wanting to talk to me.
Yeah. And well, with the way circumstances have changed, I guess I still have reason not to totally tell you everything right now, but I do want to tell you this. I'm not sure if your guppy brain has put it together or not yet, but once the Flora de Vita's out of me, well, I don't know how much time I'll have left.
Jules looks down at the ground. I suppose I always knew that. Just didn't want to think about it.
Well, hey, don't get too far ahead of yourself. It's not like I actually plan on dying or anything. I mean, Eliara hypothesized that I should have some time after the Flora de Vita's out of me. I guess I just gotta find some other powerful energy source to power me once it's out.
Yeah. We'll figure something out.
Of course.
I know it.
Yeah, everything will work out fine just like it always does. But in case it doesn't, well, I put something else inside that bag too. But you have to promise me that you won't use it until after the job is done, okay?
All right.
And if I don't make it out of this, I just want you to finish the
Tough.
job.
Don't talk like that. Of course we're gonna make it out.
You're right. But just in case, finish the job for me, okay? It'll all make sense after the mission, but promise, all right? And I'll stick out my paw.
I'll firmly grasp his forearm. It's a promise.
All right, now no more of this sappy stuff. Let's get this boom and zoom over with.
All right. I hate waiting. Let's just get to it.
So the two of you start walking back towards the group.
Is there an area nearby me that just seems especially tranquil or calm or peaceful?
Yeah, I'd say if you wanted to step ahead of the group a ways more towards the edge of this ravine, kind of like a little rock protrusion that oversees the whole vista, it would give you some distance from the group and kind of almost make you feel like you're floating in the air as you look ahead. Very, very magnificent sight.
This rock protrusion that's away from the group, I would like to go there. This sounds incredible, Zach. Can I make this happen?
Yeah, let me check my notes.
I'm sorry, it's impossible.
But yeah, you can.
Okay, yeah, Waltz will just walk over there and I'll sit down my shield in a way that I can just kind of like lean on it, and I'll rest my head back, place my fingers on my stomach, and just start to breathe and try and reach out to, I guess, that spiritual entity. It's been a while since he's had anything like that, but he thinks that maybe this is as good of a time as ever to try and reconnect.
Yeah. Can you roll me a religion check?
Mm-hmm.
While Waltz is off doing his thing, Tuff is just going to approach where the group was and set up a little coffee pot, start brewing some coffee for everyone. Elia, how do you like your coffee?
What is this coffee of which you speak?
Well, I can't tell you too much about the taste, but I take these beans and then I crush them a whole bunch and I make some hot water. That's the easy part, I guess. And then carefully strain them through the beans, then it makes this black stuff.
And why do you drink this black stuff? Does it taste good?
Well, for me, it's more for the ritual, but...
It does.
This is what you do on the surface, yes? She sits down, kind of interested and curious.
Yeah, I guess you don't know too much about what goes on down there, just like we don't know what goes on up here, huh?
I suppose so. We, more than anything, drink from the power of the Flora de Vita. Does this give you power?
In a way it does. It's revitalizing, energizing. It's a drink amongst friends.
You see Yara look down and maybe sigh a little bit, and you can see that she's feeling weak without her source of power and is away from all of her friends that she may think are dead, and looks around at all of you and says, "Then yes, I would very much like some." Waltz, what did you get on your religion check?
I got a 15, but I'm wondering if I should use a hero point.
That's up to you, bro.
Okay, I'm using a hero point. Nice, 18, 3 points higher.
Okay, Waltz, as you're calming your mind and exhaling and just trying to latch on to this power you're growing more familiar with, you notice the chatter behind you about coffee start to muffle, and then over time you can't even hear it at all as you become completely focused, and in the tranquility of your mind you start to see an image of a beautiful green and blue planet which you innately know to be Lorthal. And then as you stare at it, you feel calm and at peace, and then suddenly this image starts flickering at a constant, fast rate, and as it flickers, you see it erupting and returning to its beautiful form, and then exploding again and being destroyed and engulfed in fire, and then being restored with beauty, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And in this, you sense a lot of uncertainty on what is about to unfold for the fate of Lorthal, and it's stirring a lot of emotion in you, and you start to feel the weight of the pain of so many people. You can't tell if this is the pain of millions of voices crying out at once in the planet's destruction, or just the pain of those led astray, or what, or maybe even the pain of the undead creations made by Gothram that are roaming about. You just don't know. You just know there's so much evil here and misunderstanding. But then suddenly, as you search for clarity, you get clarity in the form of more uncertainty, as you realize that this is because something on this timeline you are on is not as it seems. It is not as you believe it to be, and there is confusion and turmoil very close and near to you. And because of this deception and uncertainty and turmoil, you are having trouble projecting what may or may not happen, because you don't even know what is. Boom!
What kind of cryptic freaking...
I don't know, I just went and dropped acid in the bathroom real quick.
I feel like I just saw Inception for the first time, and I'm like, what the heck?
No, I was just hanging out with Jaden Smith, and we were like, bro.
So what if I use my second hero point?
You want to roll again?
to get more info? I don't think you can use two anyway.
You can't.
No.
And you snap from this as you see the planet erupt one more time, and You hear them talking about coffee once again, and maybe look over your shoulder at this group and wonder what about this isn't as it seems.
Waltz will just be looking around and trying to observe what GM Zach Ernesti means by something. A thing in this giant world is not as it seems.
It would be clear that something close to the mission at hand is not what it seems. I mean, there is so many things that this could be just like off
That's
of
what I'm saying.
like there is so much uncertainty. Even Dario acted like you didn't understand everything. Gotham has told you that you don't understand certain things, and even Dario said you'd be responsible for the destruction of Caldora. We have Jules, who knows that Renard is dead and hasn't told anyone. There's tension in the group. Tough may think he could die. Like, it just, there's so much uncertainty, and that's just like literally off the top of my head. But
Wow, way to make us feel insecure about our mission. As you come to Waltz, Tuff will be yelling, I don't know, Eliar, just drink it. Stop asking me how it's made, what's in it, and all this stuff. God, you're so annoying.
thank you. She just takes it from you and starts drinking.
God, thank the Lord.
Sorry, Eliar is very passionate about his coffee.
Waltz, Eliar, use your mug.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine. I'll look for an empty one or maybe an extra or spare not being used. Grab some coffee, and I'll just be kind of slowly maybe looking at everybody individually and trying to get any kind of sense of what this ominous feeling might be or how to decipher what that feeling could be. So I guess I'll be a little out of it as I'm kind of going through the motions of grabbing my coffee and, just kind of standing.
You all look up at Waltz as he picks up his coffee mug and starts to pour it, and his face looks different. You can tell he's troubled, and he's looking across at each one of you. It may feel a little awkward, and you can tell he's just disturbed. And as he goes to pour his coffee, suddenly the ground drops beneath you as you all drop your mugs, and it feels like the floor falling out beneath you. And Eliara calls out, grab onto something! And she dives and grabs onto the roots of a tree nearby. Can you all roll me
Here we
athletics
go.
checks?
Reflex or athletics?
Athletics.
Okay.
Tough will try to avoid any nearby trees.
26.
28.
Ah,
14.
jeez.
This time, as the city rumbles and you can tell that another fall is imminent, rather than tipping, it simply starts to plummet straight down as you all lift off of the ground for a moment. And Dax, as you feel yourself lifting off the ground, you grab onto a branch and hold on tightly as it's plummeting directly down. Jules, you extend your trident once again and stab it into the trunk of a tree and hold on. Waltz, you just bear hug Jules and squeeze him super tight, and you're like squeezing the air out of him.
Waltz, I can't breathe.
Joel, sorry, I'm protecting you.
Tough, you had coffee spilled on your lap and it was really hot, and you're patting it out and look around and then realize that everyone's already dived and grabbed onto a tree as you lift off the ground and smack your shoulder into a couple of tree branches as you fly through.
Not again.
Straight upright through every branch of one of the trees as it's just smacking you into the side, smacking you. As you take just one damage, luckily. Can you grab me another athletics check?
Dirty 20.
As you make your way through all these branches that are hitting you, you realize you're on the last, very tip top of this tree. There's one last branch to grab. If you miss it, you're just going to be into the air completely. And
come here,
you
you
grab
son of a
onto
gun.
it as tight as you can and are able to firmly grasp it as you ride the city directly down. As the air is rushing around you, you hear the wind blowing through the trees, the ground rumbling, and then another powerful surge of energy as the city bounces through the clouds as fog overtakes you, as it shifts side to side and settles back down. And Tough, you are once again a cat in a tree, and you hear Eliara call out, "Is everyone here?"
Yeah, I'm good. Tough?
I'm all right.
Tough, buddy. Where you at?
Tough.
Tough! Where's Tough?
okay too.
What are you doing? Get down from there!
Well, I did go up here
Stop horsing around!
You see Smith swoop down with Zoki on his back. Oh, thanks, Smith. And she hops off, and you all can barely see each other as you're completely immersed in cloud cover. Oh no, did Tough die again? Oh my gosh.
He's up there somewhere.
What are you guys gonna do? Just keep standing there?
What do you need help?
Cervantes, go get him. Cervantes snorts, jumps up into the air, soars to the top of the tree, and starts to spin around, waiting for Tough to jump out onto him.
All right, easy now, easy now. And I jump off onto Smith.
He catches you and soars back down to the ground and lands, and you hop off.
Well, I'm glad there's one friend I can count on, and I pat Smith.
Smith snorts, and Elyara says, "It is time to go. We no longer know how much time we have. I do not know if Ciudad de Lanubis can survive another fall. I hope to see you all again, and good luck. Zoki, hop on." And she climbs up onto Cervantes and extends her hand to Zoki. Zoki goes, right, good luck, guys. Remember, Fatan Renard. And she hops onto the back of Smith, and Elyara, just clearly painting the urgency of the situation. "Remember, wait for me to release the hippogriffs before you attempt to cross Star Sea." And she slaps the reins, and Smith kicks off and takes off into the fog. You can't even see him beyond 10 feet, and the four of you are standing there.
Well, guys, clock's ticking.
We all good on the plan? Anybody have any questions before this gets going?
Renard's dead, and Jules will reach in his pocket and he'll pull his necklace out and extend his hand open to show the group.
Almost without even realizing what Jules said, Dax has the bark in his hand and is like headed to the zip line, about to put it up, and then does a double take once it sets in what Jules just said. Wait, what? What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know for sure. This was on Smith. I noticed it a while back, making our way up here. I didn't know if I should say anything to Elyara, but I just wanted you all to know. And then he'll put his necklace back on and tuck it in his shirt. We have to succeed. For Renard.
I feel like Tough can't even process if this is like true right now, or just like the shock of hearing that, but also maybe can't feel like he can afford to process all this right now. Well, it's like Zoki said, for Don Renard. And, well, let's just say we'll see him after, right?
Right. Yeah. Stay focused. Just remember what we're doing this for. Besides, island, planet thing in the sky crashing down below, of course, but...
Right. We can do this for multiple reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
Waltz will almost be expecting some kind of bad news. So when he receives this, it'll definitely stun him a little bit and leave him speechless. But as Jules kind of brings this up and, states that what we're doing is in honor of Don Reynard, he'll kind of relax his shoulders a little bit and refocus and nod over to Jules, motivated and kind of just checking over his gear, getting ready for what he knows is going to be a long mission.
So Jules will throw his piece of bark over the zip line and just looking over the city. We've certainly come a long way from Renard saying we'd never see this place. And then Jules will kick off.
Do all of you follow after?
Yeah, I follow.
Halfway under his breath, Dax will just say, yeah, I guess, and then throw his bark over and go down the zip line.
Tough will walk up to the zip line and stare at the bark in his hand, and then just chuck it to the side and wrap his extendable tail around the zip line.
Yeah.
Jump down.
The four of you start to speed down the zip line, the air rushing past you, the moisture of the clouds overtaking you as you start to vaguely see the tops of buildings, knowing you're nearing the city, hearing the menacing growls of undead in the streets below. And that is where we'll end our session.
That's unsettling.
Yeah, well, what did you think was going to happen, man? You're just going into a foggy undead city. Does that sound like something that wouldn't be unsettling? I mean,
Gives me the creeps.
no, I mean Adam. Seriously, Adam. Does that sound Adam? Adam, does that
What,
sound?
Zach?
Shut
Don't
up!
fall for it.
I actually don't care.
fuck.
I need
God,
to hear
I
you shut up
wanted
because
that.
we talk about that in the downtime. I
Ciudad
trained
de
you.
los Cubes.
Good one, Zach.
Cool. Hey, what are you saying, Ryan?
That was a good one.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you like. Shut up, Ryan.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to read some
audacity.
comments from some Reddit thread I saw the other day. It's been a while since I've read a Reddit thread. I love just
That's
shifting to
fine.
be
Reddit?
nice when I talk about like the community and stuff after telling you guys to shut up. But yeah, someone did a post. Let's see if I can find this. Yeah, they did a post. Okay, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Where's the post?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can find it. I'll find it. Hold on, guys. This is really embarrassing. I should. Okay. Yeah, someone did a post and said, what are some more unique Pathfinder actual plays? And you guys are awesome and came out and gave some great comments. There's so many. I'm going to pick a good one.
Go
Gonna share
on.
them or
Yeah, I'm going to share one.
Tantalizing.
And yeah, there's many comments on this post. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I'm just going to read maybe two. There was one from someone named... I don't even know how to botch this because I don't know what it's supposed to be. So I'm just going to say Kache. And they said,
Kache.
Mortals and Portals is a fun show with a likable cast. So good job, guys.
Oh,
So
Nice.
nice.
Likable. Good for you. High production value. Good job, Joel,
Wow.
Ryan, and Taryn. Okay.
Nice.
And short 45 to 60 minute episodes that does a very good job of giving you some action and some narrative progress in each episode. They switched to Pathfinder just before starting the show, which means you can learn the system right alongside them. I love that because you
LOL.
could have said, which means they're going to get every rule wrong and it's going to be so aggravating.
But
Which
he
is
decided
like,
to be nice.
yeah, he was nice. I really love the comment of always having some action and narrative progress. Like that's a good feeling to know that we're giving you a little bit of everything in every episode, and it feels worth your time. Well, that's also you guys because you guys do a lot of the narrative and role play and all that stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And another comment from Confident Dresser. Well, it was that was me messing up the name, and the name is Confident Bed. And then I said dresser is like a different piece of furniture, but it sounds like they're like dressed really nice and they're
That's
really
definitely what I
confident.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, they said Mortals and Portals is a great PF2E actual play podcast. They came over from D&D 5e and are in their second season now. The plot and lore is uniquely their own. The guys have great rapport and are great about knowing when to keep things light and how to respond when things get heavy. There were a few growing pains adapting to the new system, but they took constructive criticism from listeners and really
Nicely
hit their
put.
stride about halfway through the first season. I would agree that's when we started to hit our stride. I always say episode 17 I feel like is like a good turning point, but I also love that there is no plot armor protecting the players, sorry Ryan, or story arc. They let the roles decide. They also have a subreddit if you'd like to check it out, and then they link the sub. So yeah, and then just a lot of people say Mortals and Portals and check it
Dude,
out.
that was
and-
really nice of them.
I know, it's
Well
like
done.
that is a well thought out like comment. Like you're actually taking some time to like seriously help us out. So really appreciate that stuff because that does more than we ever could for convincing someone to listen to us. So thank you guys so much for vouching for us. It's always cool to see just a swarm of those comments come in and the upvotes and getting them to the top of the thread because that goes a long way. And I actually knew. So like I saw a boost in episode 1 downloads and I was like, I wonder what happened on Reddit or something. So then I searched and saw that there was this post. So like it's a very noticeable boost when you guys do that. So thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, we'll see you next time, mortals.
She just pointed out a zip line from here that goes into the city.
Yeah.
And this was never brought up before
Okay,
right now.
Ryan keeps thinking the city and the castle are the same thing. It's not. She's getting you down from the ravine into the city. Ryan
This
is like
castle
never
is
understood
inside the city. Regardless of what we do, we have to go in the city first.
think of
Concentric
like the
circles.
donut. The donut is a city.
So I thought she just took
Okay.
us up to some water
Or
right now, did
is
she
The
not?
city.
You are not at the
is a
water.
donut.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
sorry. You're right. I'm not understanding.
Everyone shut up and listen to me. Ryan,
No, like
listen to me.
I was talking to
The
Ryan
city
about
is
some
like
of
a
the-
donut. Okay,
Uh-huh.
there's a hole.
Uh-huh.
There's a hole in the middle.
Okay.
In that hole is the lake. Okay, and then in the middle of the lake is an island that has the castle that we're trying to get to.
Where are we?
You're outside
We're on
the
a
city.
ravine
You're outside,
outside
the
the
donut
donut.
entirely.
We're not even on the donut yet.
Yeah.
We're not even on the
Basically, we
donut.
have-
yet.
You're
So
gonna
this
zip line
zip
into, like,
line
midpoint
takes us
of the
to the donut.
Okay. So we're all going to zip line into this city.
Yes.
Into the donut.
And
yes.
then after the city, we have to do something there to get to dock.
You're gonna zip line into the city, work your way through the city to the lake, cross
Which
the
is
lake,
where we
go to
stop at, like
castle.
the apothecary or the gun.
I think I
or,
can
you know,
explain this using Attack on Titan references.
I think I
of
get
us
it now.
trying to
Maybe I
get through the
should've used
first
a
set
bagel.
of walls.
And then
Ryan, that's
once-
what we're doing.
Once we get past the city, we're at the water. That's where we split off.
Yeah.
Taryn and his uncanny ability to reference Attack on Titan in any situation.
I think there's a way I could reference Attack on
And
Titan.
when are
here.
we waiting for Eliara to do her thing with the hippogriffs?
When we get to the donut hole.
When you get to the dock, yeah.
So we're
waiting to
ziplining
cross.
right now. Once we're at the docks, we wait to see her do her thing and then carry
Yes.
on from there. Okay.
Yep.
Got it. And she's saying that there's potion shops and like that in the city.